Our biggest concerns were the impact it was going to have on our family, the impact it was going to have on her future. What would our future be like? Basically, you have this idealism that you're going to have your mother, father, the 2, 3 kids, and then here it is. You feel like it's almost shattered.
Our greatest fear, I think the thing you hear the most is like, oh my gosh, he's over this certain age, he's never going to talk. And, in the beginning, you believe that.
Really, what was she going to be like? Is she going to get married? Is she going to drive a car? Is she going to be able to go to school? Is she going to ever interact with anybody? What's her life going to be like? And it was frightening.
I mean, it's unfortunate. Sometimes you don't know what other families are going through. And I believe in trying everything. And if anything, I'll try to sell ABA to anybody that will pretty much listen, because, I could tell you my child, I was pretty much depressed.
Two, three. It was very stressful in the beginning with the marriage and everything, because you don't know what the right answer is, what to do.
A great number of these children with autism have incredible potential. Early intervention, based on principles of applied behavior analysis, can help roughly 40% of these children overcome the majority of their deficits and be educated with typically developing peers.
I wouldn't say that anything's been ineffective, because it's all been worth a shot. And we've done a wide variety of things.
After you figure out, certain methods or therapies are not working, you gotta move on to find something that's working.
They've all not been as effective as ABA. That's the progress. That's where we've seen the progress, and that's what I tell people. You can try whatever is suggested out there, whatever you read, but this is what you have to do to make the progress that you want to make.
He's not responding, he's not talking, so how do I do? And sometimes I was always shocked. I mean, they would do that session and then they'll leave, and okay, he's done great, he did a wonderful job, but nothing had happened since the diagnosis until the first week we started ABA, we're like, oh my God, this is it.
Children with autism can be very quick learners. Thus, they might learn to scream or pinch in order to get something to drink or to get a toy if they don't have any other words. If you give them intensive intervention while they're young, they could also learn to say juice when they're thirsty, or use sign language, or even exchange a picture in lieu of using that maladaptive behavior.
Before, we never knew what she wanted. We never knew why she was throwing a fit. We didn't know how to stop it except to give in to her, figure out what she wanted and make it stop that way. 2 years ago, those may have lasted 20 minutes to an hour, and now, they don't happen as often because we've been consistent in the situation.
His tantrums, have just, decreased because, he actually has the skills, of using, if I need to ask for something and not just gonna grunt or cry or do it myself.
That's it. Say Grover, please. Grover, please.
On this, say Grover, please.
Grover, please.
That's it. Good work, Jacob. Applied behavior analysis for young children with autism works, in essence, by teaching sometimes several hundred behaviors. For example, if I ask you your name and you say Bob, that's one behavior. Some children have to be taught to say the sound B before you can even start to teach them to say Bob.
Jacob, can you sound that out for me, please?
Big.
Very good. Let's do another one.
I mean, right now he's, mastered tons of words. He's learning to write and read, and I think that's just, amazing from coming from a point where somebody says he's never going to talk.
So in sum, a child may need to learn 100 new behavioral skills, and at other times, a child with autism may need to learn 1,000 new behavioral skills.
Go in front of the chair. Nice. Why are these the same?
The both animals Wings.
So it's basically a matter of teaching them what works. And then when you see a child learn a multitude of these adapted skills, you start to see a little person who responds to the natural environment. You start to see someone become a part of their family and be able to interact in the community.
Most important thing that Seth and I were struggling with is just having Jacob express himself and communicate. I mean, I think since we started this program was probably the first time after his diagnosis that we've actually had Jacob hear what is actually coming out of him, expressing himself, not just something he's heard or, something he's repeating from somewhere. It was something that's happening now and something that's coming out of him.
Daddy, push me hard.
It's so shocking that there is no organized ABA program in Buncombe County or North Carolina because, from my eyes, it's the only way to go.
As of 2009, the closest school that offers applied behavior analysis for young children with autism is 4 hours away from Asheville. So getting this classroom started in Asheville is something that the people of Western North Carolina need, and they deserve it. Furthermore, there's a really solid base of research supporting this intervention when children start around the age of 3.
This has actually been a pretty aggressive financial strain on the family, almost to the point of not being manageable.
It's unfortunate a lot of people can't afford to get good service, and I think even people that don't have the money, I think, just doing ABA for us personally, I think every penny that we have put into it has been worth it, and we would not take it back. I mean, we'll probably go poor before we stop, doing this for Jacob.
I personally feel that every child, regardless of income level, deserves this. It should be a child with autism's right because it's so proven to work.
We need approximately $300,000 a year to employ a certified teacher, aides, and a behavior analyst to make this classroom happen. This money will cover the cost of teaching materials, rent, toys, and the time spent working with the families directly to ensure consistency across the home and school settings. The Behavior Analysis Center of Asheville has several goals in mind. First and foremost, getting this classroom started. Secondly, we'd like to do community outreach for families in crisis. Last, a long-term objective is to be able to establish a center so that anyone in Western North Carolina can get the help that they need regardless of their financial situation.
From the standpoint that you would look at a child at this level, you think that they would never be able to succeed in society on their own. I truly believe with ABA at 18 years old, that the child, I can't tell you exactly at what level, but will be able to at some point, at some part of society, fit in and make some kind of a living and to pay back what the people in the state have done.
Because these are the tools I think he's going to need, to have a successful life.
We have the tools and the knowledge. With financial support, I know we can help these children reach their potential.
For Ella's future, I see what I would imagine seeing when she was born. There's no change now.